My name is Chirs Sun, and I am the writer and director of Daddy's Little Girl. And for a living, I make dead stuff, like horror props and masks and body parts and corpses, and yeah, it's pretty quiet life. Film history, well, I have no film history, pretty much, except for my first film, which is kind of funny because I woke up one day and yeah, I came up with this idea for a film and I wrote it. And let me tell you, I can't spell or pretty much write anything. But yeah, we wrote our first film and we made the film, and the rest is history, I guess, you know, we're up and running. A lot of people ask me, like, you know, did you go to uni or stuff for film, or did you study or whatever? Like, I've never even read a book. Someone bought me a book, you know, like Making Movies for Idiots or something. I'm that much of an idiot, I never read it. Come and Get Me was cool because we won some awards for it, which was kind of a shock. But, because I didn't make it for festivals. It's not a festival film. It's just a violent Ozploitation kind of Ocker style film where we just kill chicks for no reason, I guess, but we kill them. But we sent it off to some festivals and stuff like that, and we ended up with 11 nominations. We won 4 awards, which was great. So it was pretty cool to win the awards, but I don't feel that I deserve them yet. I feel that, you know, Daddy's Little Girl, you know, I feel now we deserve to win awards. Come and Get Me was more of a fun film. I call it my rehearsal film, although I'm so proud of it. It was cool to win awards for it, and, you know, people like the film, but yeah, I really want to win some awards for Daddy's Little Girl. With Come and Get Me, we had no money. You know, we shot it for pretty much, you know, nothing. And I guess people out there are concerned that Daddy's Little Girl might be similar to, you know, Come and Get Me. And I just want to assure people that, you know, with all movie making, directing and stuff like that, you learn as you go along. Well, you hope you do. I mean, there's plenty of filmmakers out there that their first film was shit and their second film was worse than the first film. But what separates Daddy's Little Girl from Come and Get Me is the fact that we had equipment this time. Come and Get Me, we had a wonderful guy named John Emmett, who was our cameraman. He was a news cameraman. Nobody told me you needed a DOP to shoot a film. And every shot in Come and Get Me was done over the shoulder. We didn't have anything. Whereas Daddy's Little Girl, you know, we hired Scott Kimber, who's an amazing cinematographer. And with him, you know, and our producer Dom, and I think Jeff Booth, who's a wonderful guy, you know, we use cranes and dollies and jibs and bloody Steadicam things and all that stuff. And the footage is stunning. When you look at the footage, you know, compare the two between Daddy's Little Girl and Come and Get Me. Come and Get Me is very, very amateur compared to the two. It looks like we shot this film with $1 million. Come and Get Me, it looks like we shot it with, I don't know, a Salvo's voucher or something. You know, there's a huge difference between the films. So I think people are going to be quite shocked. You know, people that didn't like Come and Get Me too much because of the quality. You know, it was very dark. We had no lights for Come and Get Me. And the lights we did have, obviously we didn't use them properly. And then they'll see this film and think, oh my gosh, you know, it's an amazing difference on how much we've learned and how far we've come in only 2 films. People seem to think that Daddy's Little Girl is based on this book. I've never read the book because I've never read a book. But I just want to let people know it's not based on the book. Daddy's Little Girl is based on actual events, kind of, with a bit of Hollywood thrown in, from where I live. So it is not about this book that people have read. It's not a porno. Some people have written to me and thought it was a porno or anything like that. So I just wanted to clear that up. You know, there's people out there that think that Daddy's Little Girl is about this book, and no, it's not. It's got nothing to do with the book. A while back I was on the road and I was setting up Come and Get Me, you know, for the premiere and stuff like that. And, you know, we're putting up, you know, posters and all sorts of stuff. We were on a pretty good high, and I'd always had this vision of, you know, shooting my next film and, you know, Charlie's Farm. But one of my close friends was telling me this story about what had happened to her and a friend. And it was a really sad story, you know, about, you know, they were, you know, molested and hurt by her uncle, who was also this girl, her friend's stepdad. And the more I listened to the story, I realised, you know, how much this stuff happens, you know, around Australia. And it was really sad, you know, that this guy who they trusted, the family trusted, who was so close to them, you know, was doing this to such young kids, you know, between, I think they were, might have been 6 or 8 years old, something like that, very, very young. And it made me think of my daughter, Savannah, you know, like, oh, she's the cutest little Teletubby little munchkin, you know, and we wrote a story based around that. And then I started thinking about other cases from where I lived. You know, there's a case of Sean Kingy, which is, you know, a hugely famous case here on the Sunshine Coast. There's also Daniel Morecambe that we all know of. And there's, you know, Patricia Leedy and her friend that were killed at Kiwana, and many other, you know, cases. And I wanted to make a movie that we could, you know, touch base on all these stories, you know, and sort of bring it all together. So this film is not about that one story in particular. We talk about many different events that have happened here on the Sunshine Coast. Some have been murder. Some, well, I mean, those three cases in particular are murder. Some are, you know, child molestation and stuff like that. So we bring it all together into one film, and it's a very emotional story. I honestly didn't think that I could write something like that. And then when people started reading it, and people were crying. Even Christian Radford, one of the actors, read it and cried. And at first I thought, you little poof. But then I realized that maybe this film does have that emotional side of it. You know, maybe I can do this for a living. Maybe I have worked it out. My goal for the film is to take it around the world, take it to festivals, and tell this, you know, tell this story. You know, I mean, open people's eyes. This isn't just, you know, stranger danger anymore. You know, like, kids are being, you know, abused and murdered by family, friends, and, you know, like, people that are so close to you, you wouldn't know. Look, if the film can help one child, you know, or get one family member or somebody, you know, to stand up and say no more, then we've succeeded. So let's see what the future holds. I don't really know what to expect from it. Well, I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for fame. I couldn't give a shit about that. You know, what I care about is my 4 children and everybody else's kids. This movie is, you know, it's about kids. It's about family. It's about losing somebody you love so much. You know, like, I look at my daughter, man, and oh my gosh, her tooth fell out the other day, and she's the cutest little critter with this tooth missing. I mean, I love my kids, man. You know, and if somebody hurt my kids, fuck them. I get some amazing inboxes from people that, you know, have had a hard life, man. They write to me and they say I'm their hero and stuff like that for doing this film. And I just want to make it clear that I'm not their hero, man. Yeah, they're stronger than I am. You know, they're the real heroes here, mate. They've lived it, and now they're getting on with their life, and they're, you know, protecting their kids and you know, doing their thing. But the support has been, it's been amazing, but we need more. When I first started writing the script, I had my kids over that weekend, and I wanted it to be, you know, really based on real life. And my daughter and I, we have like these little sayings that we say to each other. Every night when I tuck her in, you know, it's how much do you love daddy? And she says to the moon and back. And then we argue for a few seconds over who loves who more. And I had this vision, you know, of me and Vanna, you know, making this movie together and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be. And when we were doing auditions for Daddy's Little Girl, we had this little pocket rocket, you know, Billy come in. And this kid was just amazing. Little Billy, oh my gosh. She was a little bit shy at the start, but she just blew me away. You know, she reminded me of Vanna a little bit and stuff like that. We just got on really, really good. And I think it, you know, we worked together, and I sort of, you know, really helped her with the lines and stuff. And that kid, Billy, oh my gosh, if you're making a film out there with children, you need Billy Baker, because this kid can really act. It was quite fun on set sometimes when we're, you know, out there shooting, and everybody says we shot for 23 hours one day. I don't remember it. But I know we had a big day there, you know, one of them. But there was a couple of memorable moments on set. One of them, I fell off my director's chair. Actually, no, it broke under me and I fell off. And my son used the exact same chair for his film when he directed his, and he fell off it too. So like father, like son, I guess, you know, we're 2 peas in a pod. For me though, there was a moment in the film, and it wasn't a special moment. It wasn't like one of those sad scenes, but it's when we were shooting out the front of Stacey's house, and Sean Gannon was sitting on the street, and he was talking to Michael Thompson. Sean played Michael's best friend, Colin, because all Scottish people are named Colin, and they'll tell you that. I looked at Sean when he was delivering these lines, and they weren't super special lines. It wasn't super emotional. But it really hit me hard. That's when I realised I'm making a real movie. Weird, huh? Because he's Scottish. You can't understand him. I don't know how I understood him, but it was cool. Love you, Sean. When I was casting for Daddy's Little Girl, I wanted that name talent. You know, I wanted someone cool to be involved, and you know, you want $1 million yacht for 10 grand. You know, don't we all? So I wrote to a couple of you know, actors. You know, an actor that I really like is Nathan Phillips. He's an Australian actor, and he was in Wolf Creek and stuff like that. And they expressed interest in the film. Actually, they love the script. I also wrote to Edward Furlong's team. They really wanted to be involved in the film, which was fantastic, you know. But $10 million yacht for 10 grand, you know, it just doesn't happen. So it was cool to have that opportunity, to know that I wrote something that, you know, bigger stars found, you know, really appealing and wanted to be involved in. But I also wanted it to be a local film, you know, made by locals, up-and-coming talent. And we originally had another up-and-coming Aussie actor, you know, that we were looking at originally to play the role of Derek. But Michael Thompson came in and auditioned, and he had these big googly eyes. They were like Google eyes. I call him Googles. And at first I didn't think of him for Derek. But then, you know, we were negotiating with Edward Furlong and all sorts of stuff. And I realized, you know what? This guy's pretty good. And if I work with him, he just had that innocent look about him. He could be the next Edward Furlong or the next Nathan Phillips. So why not give him a shot? I worked with this chick a while ago in Come and Get Me, Lira. And I just wanted to gut her, you know. So she had a very small role. She'd never acted before. And she came on Come and Get Me. You know, those ditzy blonde chicks, you know, that's afraid of everything and doesn't really know much. She actually thinks that a green thumb means you have a green thumb. But I rang Lira because I thought she's so natural, she's so talented, and I thought, you know what, I'll hit her up and see if she wants to be involved in this film. And of course, she was keen as mustard. And she turned up here, and a few people made comments to her, you know, you bring your A game and stuff like that, because I don't think they realise, you know, they're about to be shocked. And Lira, she just blew them away. Like, she honestly is my hero. Like, and that's speaking the truth. She came here, she was prepared to go. And whatever she shot, it blew people away. We had extras here in tears sometimes, you know, because they were watching her perform. There's just, yeah, so many people could learn from her. She's probably the best method actress in this country right now. And you guys will see it when you watch her on screen. You know, I've spoken about Billy and Michael and Lira a little bit. I mean, all the talent were amazing. You know, Rebecca Plint, she was a funny little critter. She's bogan, man. Like, everybody always says to me, you know, oh, you're a bogan fella. Well, I don't know. You know, I don't wear pluggers and stuff, but Rebecca, you are bogan. She's talented, super talented. Like, look, all the actors and actresses were great. Daryl Plumwich was another guy that was always prepared. You know, he'd turn up, he'd know his stuff, and he had some pretty cool roles. Mirko Grillini did an amazing job. He had to do a monologue, and you guys wait till you see that monologue. It's very touching. It's a very powerful monologue. Christian Radford, as usual, you know, is an amazing actor. That kid's got a future. You know, it doesn't matter. Anybody who he's worked with will tell you that. We also had some crazy, you know, people come on. Jamie Joseph was a bit of a unit. Korshik, you know, Craig, all the guys. Like, I can't remember everybody. Well, I can remember them, but I'm not going to name you all. You all know that you did an amazing job, and it was a pleasure to direct you guys and have you involved in my film. We were lucky with Daddy's Little Girl because we had Scott Kimber come on board, and Scott and I we originally met to shoot Charlie's Farm. And I rang him up and, you know, said, yeah, you want to be involved in my film? Actually, I think Dom, the producer, Dom's better known as MIA, Missing in Action for the fans out there. No, Dom rang up Scotty and had a chinwag with him, and I had a chat with Scott about being involved in the film. And the first thing he says to me is, what are you shooting it on? Why do you cameramen always say that? Who cares what we're shooting it on? Just come and shoot it. And Scott's the kind of guy that you can give him an iPhone and he will make this film look amazing. And he did. He turned up and he doesn't take any shit. He's focused. He's very focused. He had the most amazing crew with him. And those guys just nailed it every time. Scott and I worked well together. He understands me. I guess he knows I'm full of shit. But no, we understand each other. He likes burger rings. I like cheese balls, you know. We just got on really good. The other thing that we were really lucky with is we had some investors come on board. We had Lawrence from Gympie Cinemas and Heath Bertram from Roseboro, plus many other investors in the film. But these two guys in particular helped one of my dreams come true. We were blessed to have Steve Boyle. Now, Steve Boyle is my hero in the FX world. He's done Daybreakers, 30 Days a Night, King Kong, and all those movies that none of us care to watch. But no, Steve, you know, we got to do some amazing special effects. I got to assist with him on set. You know, to work with your hero is a huge honor, like to have him involved in the film. And what makes it even better is Steve works on 20, 30, I think right now he's working on like $100 million film or whatever it is. And to have him say to you that this film is amazing. You know, Steve said to me on set that he did more work on one person on this film than he did on the subtitles for Daybreakers. And Daybreakers was like $20 million, you know, of a film. Look, those that watch this film are going to be amazed when they see what Steve Boyle, you know, has done. And I would never make a movie without him. It was so cool to have him on board and be involved. And Steve hates interviews and he hates people putting cameras in his face. And stay tuned because I'm going to interview him when he gets back to Australia for Daddy's Little Girl. But it was a real honor to work with Steve, and I can't wait to work with him again. When I first started out, you know, I wanted to be like this, you know, protecting children and against violence against kids and stuff like that. It was also about, you know, the justice system and, you know, are we happy with our justice system? You know, could it be changed? And also the revenge aspect. You hear around the world about people taking revenge against people that have hurt their children. If there is a message in Daddy's Little Girl, it's just be very careful on who you trust. Like, how many times, you know, you're at the barbecue and your kids sit on people's laps and stuff like that. I know I've said it before, but, you know, do you really know that person? People have asked me, you know, throughout this film, you know, about revenge or justice, and these are my Ugg Boots, by the way. I love Ugg Boots. And it's not even that cold, I just couldn't be bothered putting shoes on. People have asked me about, you know, like, what do I think about the justice system and stuff like that. I think for when it comes to child molesters, you know, rapists and stuff like that, we're way too lenient. You know, these guys, they get these big sentences, you know, and they make it sound so good in court, and then the bastards are out in 3 years roaming the streets, living up the road from me and you. And then they say they'll never do it again and stuff like that. Look, I think the justice system sucks. But do I think, you know, people should kill these guys or whatever? No, I just think that, you know, leave them in jail. To people out there that, you know, hurt their kids and, you know, or you know, hurt children, I think you're shit. You know, I think that, I mean, who could do that? You know, like look at an innocent child and just hurt them, you know, because they cry too much or because they're hungry or, you know, whatever the reason is. And then you've got them sick, twisted perverts out there that, you know, are raping kids. And my message to you is, you know, you're shit. You know, you need to go seek counselling. You need to go dob yourself into the cops. Whatever you need to do to take yourself off the street, you need to do it. Because what you're doing to these kids is cruel. It's not right. Until I started this film, I didn't know that there were so many cases of child molestation in this country. I did not know. I was shocked when I saw that, you know, a little girl that tightens her belt every night so her own father doesn't rape her. She wears a belt to bed. That is so sad, you know. So people out there need to, you know, if you think something's going on or you think something, you know, there's something weird happening at your neighbour's place or something like that, just ring the cops. Ring somebody, you know, like speak up. Don't turn a blind eye to it. Don't pretend you didn't hear it. You know, you need to do something about it now, because if you don't, something worse could happen to that child. So if you know something's going on, don't be so fucking gutless. Us as a nation, we need to stand up and say no more. You know, this is rubbish. And we're allowing this to happen. When these people go to court, you know, when they're caught and they go to court and the judge says, I'm giving you 8 years. Well then, judge, if you're watching this, give them 8 years. Leave them in there. You know what? Give them 12. You get less for, I mean, you get more in jail for tax evasion than you do for raping a child. What the fuck is wrong with this country? It's sad. It really is sad. So, yeah, my message for all those people out there that hurt kids is you're scum. You're dead set scum, and it's sad. It really is sad because, you know, kids live in fear now. I mean, it's a real shame, and it breaks my heart and it breaks everybody else's heart to know that you're sitting there right now thinking you've done nothing wrong. I think that his little girl will be rated R. When I first did the film, you know, I'm thinking MA 15 or whatever it is, you know, like get the younger audiences in there. But no, I think now it'll definitely be an R rating. Some people might say that's a real shame, but when you see the film, I guess you'll understand why. I think a lot of people don't understand, you know, what's involved in making a movie. You know, some people think we run around with a handy cam or something and, you know, whack this together. But I'm hoping to release Daddy's Little Girl in 2013. I'd like to do a premiere this year, a once-off premiere for the film, and then take it on the festival circuit, and then allow the distributors to decide where and when it'll be released first. I'd love it to come out in Australia first. That'd be really cool. That'd be better than cool. But I guess we just have to wait and see. But definitely 2013, Daddy's Little Girl will be released for everyone to see. We all know how I feel about the justice system. You know, does that mean that I want to kill people? I think watch the movie. You know, I think that will answer everything. If you watch my film, you know, it's a father's love for his child, a mother's love for her child. You don't mess with someone else's kid. That's my answer. And there's my dogs. Here comes my dogs. Come on. They're terrible too. Hey, Cooch. My dogs will give you revenge. You want to mess with my kids? Look at this big fella. You know, they'll give you revenge. You know. They'll eat your leg. All right, go on, get out. Go, get out. Get off my phone. That's how I Facebook people. Bloody hell. And don't rip my leg. Yeah, cool. Happy days. You filming my dogs or what? After Daddy's Little Girl, I'd love to roll in and shoot Charlie's Farm, hopefully late 2013. I've had that script sitting for a while, and I was going to do that before Daddy's Little Girl, but I really want to roll in and shoot Charlie's. I think that's going to be an amazing film and give Australia our first ever iconic, you know, killer, and take on Jason Voorhees. I know that's a big statement, but yeah, give me 12 months and I think, you know, we'll take on the Voorhees chain and see how we go. You never know your luck in a big city, right? 3. Cujo, shh, don't snore. Edit. Cujo. Tell everybody to share the bloody page on Facebook, will you, since you're interrupting my moment. Okay. It'd be really good. Fucking dogs.